Yeah, what up, YouTube? All right, my boys, let's get into another little video, man. So, I've been really like passive with my trading recently, and if you're a DJ trader, you can see why. You go to the 1 hour chart, and it's just like we've been kind of just like in this one range from here to here, and it's just been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and we've been having these like slow little pushes, but these last 2 weeks it's just been very passive for me on my end. I haven't really lost a trade, like literally I haven't lost a trade. I mean, I've been just absolutely taking the best trades possible, but I haven't really been trading too much, but my Friday trade was pretty good, right? So this was actually Thursday actually, but the trade hit on Friday. So it was a pretty big banker, right? So I find myself my last two trades, and as you can see here, I got these circles. I get into that right now, but my last two trades I've been really passive, bro. Like I get into the trade, I got reasonable stop losses, right? For example, like look at this. So I broke these highs over here and came back down. So I took a buy over here. I was like, let me take a buy on this pullback. I got a break and retest structure kind of going on over here at this 450 level, and bro, I think I'm gonna take this buy. I got a reasonable stop loss underneath all these lows. If I start trading underneath there, I'm no longer bullish. So I mean, we're in the session at 8 o'clock, 8:30. So it's like, what am I gonna wait till 1 o'clock p.m.? No, so it was kind of just like that was my mentality behind the trade. The buys were more reasonable than the sells. I had a greater stop loss on on a buy than possible for if I wanted to take a sell over here. Let me sell here and then put a stop loss here. We've already broke these highs, so it didn't really make any sense. So I took the buy. I was patient with it, and patience paid off on this one. Trade ended up completely hitting. We hit those. Um, Dude, Monday came. Memorial. Didn't trade Memorial for what? No reason to trade Memorial. But then I ended up taking a sell, man, because we kind of got like some exhausted after this push. I mean, the buys were coming. We had some rejections here. We started trading underneath here under this SMA. And I was like, yo, you know what, man? This is a sell, in my opinion, man. If I'm gonna take a sell, I'm gonna take a sell right over here after we rejected this. And even though we did break these highs, I mean, I'll be real with you, man. I'm not really trying to take a trade based on what happened over here today. I'm taking a trade based on what's going on right over here, and my sells made more sense. So I ended up taking the sells. And let me see here. We've been absolutely killing it, right? So this was the 28th. So I mean, bro, a little 30 pipper right there. I go to my challenge chat as well. So this was it, man. Freaking crazy, right? So, and I not too much going on over here. So that was my sell right over here. Took the sell, and again, man, we thugged it out. We won the trade, man. So it was a great trade in my opinion. So that's what I was looking for, and what I really want. Trust me, I began trigger finger happy, man. I came back to this range. I wanted to buy over here, and I wanted to definitely buy over here. I really did, but I didn't, man. Like I said, I'm gonna take it really passive until we can at least get out of this area. But in this area, man, from here to here, I like this range, so I'm gonna definitely be active, right? But it's Sunday, man. I want to I told you guys I'm gonna just start doing these videos and just kind of just go on, man. I don't want to just be like a performer, man. It's Sunday, man. I got into my word. I ain't gonna lie, man. I woke up today, and I was just kind of like in that feeling where it's just like, man, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, what do I do with my life? Like, I mean, faith without works is dead, right? But it's like, well, what am I supposed to work on, man? So I was like, yo, let me just pick up this Bible, and I read a lot of restoration chapters, and I start reading on this Isaiah 60 chapter because I love Isaiah 60, man. I think Isaiah is one of the greatest books in the whole entire Bible, man. I love it so much, man. It's motivated me. It's kept me very strong in my faith. And I start reflecting on like the old Daniel Savage, because somebody wrote in my comments the other day and was like, yo, like what happened to the old Daniel Savage that posted all the money, who had all the views? Like this video has like 200 views. And it was just like, those things used to bother me at one point, but they don't bother me anymore, man. They just kind of remind me like, yo, like, you know what? And I don't mind telling people, yo, I got humbled, because it did, bro. And it used to make me bitter, but I'm not really bothered about being humble no more, right? Because you know what? It's just like the same God that let me lose all these things, just so that way I can find a way home to him. It's just like, yo, like God let me lose all this. And what happened to me was very unfair, very injustice. I lost everything, my platforms, my voice, any way to get reached through. I couldn't do nothing, man. Nobody could see me, nobody could find me. I couldn't post videos, and I was just taken off the internet completely, right? And there's some things here that I was reading, and I just want to just read these little highlights, right, before I just continue what I was saying. And it goes into Isaiah 61:8, and it goes, for I, the Lord, love justice, and I hate robbery and wrongdoing. I will faithfully give them their recompense, and I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And before that, it goes this is my favorite verse, guys, right? So Isaiah 6:17, instead of your shame, there shall be a double portion. Instead of dishonor, they shall rejoice in their lot. Therefore, in their land, they shall possess a double portion. They shall have everlasting joy. And those words right there, man, they keep me going, man, when I'm a little sad, right? And I found myself a little bit today just like, yo, Daniel, like in my own head, like, yo, Daniel, like, what are we doing today? And I'm like, I don't know. And I've been finding myself a lot lately, just kind of like not knowing what to do, man. I know faith without works is dead, but like, what am I supposed to do? I got no voice, I got no platform. I got this YouTube channel. And I was like, yeah, let me just make a YouTube video over here and talk about how I'm feeling, but I read Isaiah 60 today again. And again, man, it just really cool, man, because it goes, I like this part, right? It's the 15, Isaiah 60:15. Whereas you have been forsaken and hated, with no one passing through, I will make you majestic forever, a joy from age to age. So, and he continues and goes into 17, for example, instead of bronze, I will bring gold, and instead of iron, I will bring silver. So it's like, okay, cool, man. I sit here and I get a little depressed sometimes, and I get a little bit, let down, and, I pressed something, and I get a little bit like, damn, dog, you know what I mean? And it's like, bro, but you know what? I sit here and I realize, yo, the same God who let everything happen to me, man, he saw it all. He don't like it. And, it brought me closer to him. I used to think social media was my God until the real God showed me, yo, I'm the only God. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take it all away from you. But the thing is, he didn't really take it away from me, because God don't take nothing from you. He just let these things happen to me. He let all these things be stripped from me, so I can, be worked on and find a way to him. You know what I'm saying? God will give it back to me. His word is a pattern all in the Bible that, he will give it back to you. And he talks about it. And I love how he talks about it, how he's going, again, instead of shame, double portion. The sons of those who afflicted you shall come bending to you, so it's like, and then you got Psalms, I will, he prepares the table in front of your enemies. So there's many scriptures, and there's many, things here. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm in that season. It's the wilderness season, guys. It's everything. Everybody went through this season, right? And, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I did wake up a little bit sad today. Like, yeah, God, when are you going to move in my life? But I'm just reminded of who my God is, man. And when he suddenly like, okay, now it's time to work. Like, now it's time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I guess I'm just waiting for my time, like, when are you gonna do for me what you've done for others? Like, when are you gonna restore all the years the locust has eaten? And sometimes I sit here, or I guess I'm venting now, and sometimes I sit here and I'm just like, has my restoration already, is that it? Like, okay, yeah, I got clean, I got sober. 2 days ago, I made 10 months walking with Jesus since I surrendered my life to this word and this Bible. I gave my whole life to it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm in that same pattern that all these people went through, right? Like, where are you? David even talks about it in Psalms. He's like, where are you? Where art thou? Like, I feel forsaken. I feel abandoned. You know what I mean? And I sit there and I'm just like, God, when are you going to do these things that your word says you're going to do? Right? So I love it. I love it so much. It was Psalm 23, if I'm not mistaken. And I love reading these things, because it's like, man, it keeps me going. You know how many times I want to give up so fast? Was it 22? Yeah, 23. And no, 23 is awesome, because it talks about, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall feel no evil. Like, you prepare a table in front of me, in front of my enemies. And yeah, it's 22, and it's how I am, bro. It's how I feel, right? So it's like, the enemy tries to disqualify me for feeling these things, but then you read things like Psalm 22 and it goes, my God, why have you forsaken me? You know, Jesus even quoted that, right? Why are you so far from saving me? From like, and it's like, damn, that's me right there. You feel me? And it's like, I'm sitting here living my life and I see how these people lived it too. And it's like, man, like it's all written, bro. Right? So my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer. And by night I find no rest. You are holy and enthroned on the praises of Israel, and you, our fathers, trusted, they trusted, and you delivered them. You know, so it's like David's over here sitting there, and just like me, man, I sit here and I'm like, when are you gonna move in my life? You know what I'm saying? You've opened these doors, you've brought me this far, you've broken every single chain of addiction in my life. I sit and worship, I pray over my family, I pray over my success, I pray over everything. And you know, I've realized how this pattern came from me wishing I had everything I had back. But it's like, I know God's not gonna give me everything I had back because there's no pattern in there. You know, he don't give you what you lost, man. Sometimes he do, but it's just like, he don't give it back to you in a way like how you lost it. You know what I'm saying? He gives it back to you in a way where it's just like, okay, now, when these people who saw everything mocked you, right? Like in my life, how I feel like the Holy Spirit has communicated with me, it's like, I've never had patience in my life, right? So God is teaching me patience, right? And it's like, you lost a lot, but my word says, there's nothing too big for me. I am the God of redeeming. I will give you back everything you lost. But the thing is, God won't give it back to me the same way I lost it, how I'm feeling it, right? How I'm reading it is like, okay, I had this, but if God gave it back to me like this, don't think it's luck. Don't think I did it, right? So he's got to give it back to me bigger, stronger, better, and in abundance with more, right? Because when I come back, it'll just be like one of those moments where it's just like, damn, God really did restore him, right? So he's got to work on me internally. So that way, when I become a reflection of his grace, of his glory, and like this is a life surrendered fully to God. I mean, it'll glorify him, and it'll be a form of worship to him. And you know, again, man, I'm staying faithful. You know, sometimes I just feel like the enemy tries to tell me I got way too much faith. This is a fairy tale, and I sit here and I'm like, okay, can this be a fairy tale? But it's like I look at how far I've come. And it's just like, no, man, I couldn't do this on my own. I tried for years. I couldn't do none of this on my own. Look how far I've come, man. You know, so it's like you have these spiritual warfare moments. And, you know, I've been reading the scriptures. You know, I love the scriptures. I read the gospels. And, you know, I just felt like I had to come on here today, you know. And I don't want to make this video too long. But again, man, I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not really here to, you know, sell you anything like most people. But again, man, I just want to connect with my loyal followers, I guess, the people who see this. I don't know why I feel called to say this, but yo, like, I really appreciate all of you guys, man. And don't worry, man, at any moment you're gonna see, I know some of you guys that are still here, that you guys remember who I used to be. I remember that too, right? Sometimes I do forget, don't get me wrong, but I get reminded. But yo, God's got a plan for me, man. He's got a plan for all of us, bro. And when he's done fulfilling his plan, what he's working on right now as of this moment, man, you guys are gonna come back to this moment and you'll be like, yo, Daniel, that's crazy. I remember that video on Sunday at freaking, you know, 3:41 p.m. And you know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, I'm not giving up on my God, because, you know, God has carried me so far. It's like he hasn't given up on me, you know what I'm saying? So I just need to be patient. I need to trust him. And who knows, man, maybe God, you know, put it in my heart to make this video today that I just completely winged it, because maybe you guys need to, you know, just, I don't know, maybe somebody needs it too. Who knows, right? I don't know why I do the things I do sometimes. I just do them, you know, not like before. You know, if it didn't make me money, I wasn't being paid to do it, I wouldn't want to do it. But now it's like I find myself doing a lot of things these days where it's like, it don't make no sense to me, but I'm gonna do it anyways. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I got faith, man. So yeah, you know, I was humbled. God let a lot of these things be stripped of my life, but that word reminds me that I should not be depressed, man. Because as long as I let God in my life work on me, man, what God's gotten stored for me, man, it's gonna be so great that I'm gonna boast in it. I'm gonna scream and I'm gonna joy in it. And everybody who mocked me, everybody who laughed at me, and everybody who doubted, they're gonna have to sit there, man, and they're gonna have to see what God does in my life. And that's gonna hit them so hard. And that's what God likes, man. God likes to make a statement. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? Maybe God wants to make a statement in your life, right? So I love you guys, man. God bless every single one of you guys, man. And let's get it.